So what if we stopped censoring ourselves? What if we allowed a torrent of emotionally inspired, spiritually relevant, totally authentic expressions of our personal truth to just come forward? Like, what if we said things that we normally would not say in public? What if we allowed the private to become public? I love artists such as Sting because in their lyrics you can see that they struggle with this very thing of making their private lives public, and in some ways you have to take stock of yourself even more as you spread seeds of inspiration. However, what we're really trying to do is be free of the constraints of the ego, the conditioning of society, even the constraints of reason itself can be inhibiting. So, speaking in tongues is one way that I like to get beyond the rational mind. And I know healers who use this similar technique of going non-linear, pretending they're speaking in some other language, but all they're really trying to do is use their voice as a carrier wave for transcendent principles, perhaps angelic in origin, who knows? I mean, we can't really... See, I'm starting right now in my life at nearly 50 years of age to believe that if I adopted a balls-to-the-wall approach of consciousness expansion and awakening, if I stepped out of my comfort zone and gained the courage of my convictions fully and never hesitated for one moment to say everything that I wanted to say, I would embarrass myself for a little while, because I'd probably be a little incredulous that I had stepped out that much. But one of the things I want to say to people is, our hearts are truly one. Our world is truly one. We do have the capacity to understand each other despite the divisions that we see being fomented by media, by politics, all the national fervor and all of the religious fervor, all of this. We are all human at the core of it. And beginning to develop the coherence of a planetary society, which means instead of having a 0 consciousness on our scorecard, we have a 1, that we're rated as a unity consciousness, as one planet. When is that coming? When will that happen? 2100? If we're moving in that direction, then the internet and all of these information technologies can be seen as a foreshadowing, in a sense, of connection. Right now all we have is virtual connection through a virtual noosphere, which means group mind, planetary mind, universal mind. But someday we may actually have a genuine mental and psychic and emotional connection to the whole of humanity, like every artist does. Every human in the coming future may really sense and own their connection to the one that we are, that we share, the one beingness that we share. The 8 Minutes of Enlightenment series that you've been witnessing all these weeks and months is now coming to an end. And it's hard for me to say that because I just want to honor that Richard, my guitarist, was the one who came up with the name 8 Minutes of Enlightenment. So in a way it would be wrong for me to run with that idea after he leaves for Mexico. The only way we're going to do an 8 minutes of enlightenment from this point forward as if Richard can be on the call. Now, why is that? Well, he's like my art partner. I'm not censoring myself right now, if you're wondering. Why is Andrew telling me all these things? I don't even know this guy. Well, it's because I'm not censoring myself. Okay, that's what this whole particular episode is about, but it's also what 8 minutes of enlightenment is about. Not censoring oneself. Now, people don't want to see you jack off like that on camera for very long. They want to hear something meaningful. That's why 8 minutes of enlightenment is meant to enrich and to enliven the spirit and to awaken the mind. It's not a brand. It's just a wink in time that came about from the mutual artistic vision of two luminaries who will soon be physically, geographically parted. So we will have to learn to maintain our connection non-locally. Maybe we should each keep dream journals. Maybe we should be witnessing the signs and synchronicities of our lives and sending letters back and forth to say, oh, here's how my life's evolving, how is yours going? And see if there's any coherence between the two through a non-local quantum entanglement effect, which all lives experience. We talk about 6 degrees of separation. Bro, it's like 6/100ths degree of separation. Everything is so completely connected that the separation is minute. And all we are seeing are very subtle shades of creation. From the fox to the tree to the mountain to the light bulb to the digital camera, all these are subtle shades of the Creator manifest before us. So censoring oneself means you could never even voice some of your deepest realizations and understandings. So don't do that. But then again, don't try not to say something or to say something. There is a wealth of consciousness and deep sentience in every cell of our bodies. And that's all we're asking to come forth. ASK. Ask. And it shall be yours. It already is yours. Just release it. Turn every cell into a supernova of creative juice. Smata.